One of the reasons is because they never have a chance to neutralize them. And they've done some science that when we touch the earth, bare feet on the grass, I go ground myself, or I go earth myself by getting in the ocean. I ground myself, I earth myself by stepping on the grass.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, podcaster, it's your host, Adam A. Adams, AAA, the podcast coach, and I'm here to help you be a better podcaster. This episode is going to be a shorter episode. It's going to be talking about something that can benefit you as a podcast host and as a business owner and even a parent or a spouse. So if you want to be better at podcasting and other things that you are called to do in this life, because your life shouldn't just be the podcast, then this is a great episode for you. And I want to say thank you to all of the people that have been reaching out and letting me know that you love these short biohacking episodes. Today, I've got a very short one that is also about biohacking that I think really can benefit my listener, that's you, to be able to be a better podcast host. And so in this episode, I want to talk about something silly, something crazy, something foo-foo, something that you may have heard of and you may not have heard of. Have you ever seen those weirdos? They're usually the weirdos that are doing Tai Chi or yoga and ice baths and things like that. And they're posting it on their social of them doing these weird yoga poses. I don't even know what they're called. And in these things, they're talking about, or these people, I almost hate saying that, but these people, they often will take off their shoes and they'll go to the park bare feet. And you and I might look at them and say, you're going to step on glass. You're going to step on some dog feces. And like, that's more dangerous than the benefit. Let's talk about the benefits and some other ways that we can get the benefit if you don't want to scare yourself from stepping on dog poo or stepping on some glass or something, a stick. So this is called grounding, and or you could call it earthing. A lot of people will call it earthing, and it's really called grounding. And the science on this is freaking amazing. Our body is made up of cells. You probably already knew that. We talked about this in another episode. Your brain is made up of brain cells. Your skin is made up of skin cells. All of the parts of your body are made up of cells. And guess what cells are made up of? They're made of molecules. Every single cell has what's called a molecule. Many, many, many molecules, in fact, to build up one cell. And in each molecule, there's something much smaller than a cell, much smaller than a molecule. It's called an atom, A-T-O-M. Not atom like Adam Adams, but atom. These little itty-bitty tiny atoms are made up of just a couple of things. They're made up of what? Do you know? Made up of electrons and protons, neutrons, electrons. Okay, so we've got all of these basically spinning things where there's a number of protons, electrons, neutrons. There's a number of these. The neutron is in the middle. The protons and neutrons go around the outside. And that makes up an atom, A-T-O-M. Each of these atoms get messed up from things called cell phones, radio, EMF, that's electromagnetic frequency. So when we put a cell phone to our ear, when we have a cell phone in our pocket, when we have a laptop on our lap, the energy, the microwaves from all of the different type of radio waves, radio frequency, cell waves, electromagnetic waves, all of these things can disturb the protons and the neutrons and the electrons. So what's going to happen is you might lose a proton or neutron. You might gain a proton or neutron. One might go from this atom to this other atom. And as they get messed up, as these electrons get effed up, then you start having issues, problems. These issues and problems can result in cancer. They can result in getting sick. They can result in not sleeping well. They can result in a number of different ailments, okay? And these ailments are not ideal. We don't want these ailments. In the past, there was a lot less issue or problem with some of these sicknesses that you and I might get. Our friends might be getting cancer or whatever. In the early on past, in caveman times, and even today, but in areas where they have less of these EMFs or electromagnetic frequencies, In other countries that are maybe third world countries, for you and me, you might be thinking of it as it's a poor country, or it's a country that's not well developed, or it's a country where they're not wearing shoes, or they have to walk through the water. They don't have cars with rubber tires. They don't have shoes with rubber soles. In some of these countries, they're actually more healthy than the people that you and I might know. And one of the reasons is because they never have a chance to neutralize the protons and neutrons and electrons. They never have a chance to neutralize them and get them back to how they were supposed to be. And they've done some science. It's pretty incredible that when we touch the earth, bare feet on the grass, for example, I do it in the ocean whenever I go out of town. I go ground myself, or I go earth myself by getting in the ocean. I ground myself, I earth myself by stepping on the grass. Actually, I have a grounding mat right now that my mom gave me that I put at my computer, at my desk, and I've been using it. And my mouse became a mouse pad, and it goes right underneath my keyboard. And you're asking, well, how does a rubberish looking mat on your keyboard help you ground? There's something interesting. When we figured out electricity and light bulbs and how to control electricity and bring power to people. When we first figured this out, it was a remarkable new thing. It was beneficial. It started allowing us to have machines to take over human jobs. It started to allow us to do a lot of different things. Some are beneficial. Absolutely. I won't argue that. And some are not beneficial. Like as we mass produce all these shoes and everybody's wearing shoes and we're expected to wear shoes, and we walk into a grocery store, or what is it, a fast food? No. What is it called? Oh, I guess a fast food, yes, but I meant convenience store, a gas station. It says no shirt, no shoes, no service. If you don't have a shirt on, or if you don't have shoes on, you can't come in. Well, that's not the same way when I go to a third world country. When I'm in Mexico, I'm not saying Mexico specifically is a third world country, but when I'm out of the US, when I'm in the Philippines, when I'm in Costa Rica, a lot of the times, if you don't have shoes on, if you're not wearing a shirt, you can still go into the stores because it's more accepted there. It's just different in the US where I live. Well, what I'm trying to get to is when they figured out electricity, it took them some time to understand that they were causing issues, that the electricity could be scary, it could be dangerous. And they learned something. They learned that all they needed to do was get a third wire. It's called a ground wire. They needed to get a third wire available in the plugs that we have, in the outlets that we have. And did you know what they ended up doing with this third wire? They literally take a metal rod. That's it. All they're doing is taking a long metal rod, sticking it in the ground. Because once a metal rod, even if it's just touching the ground, it'll work. But if they stick it in the ground, it'll stay there for a long, long time. They will literally stick one wire into the ground, and all of the outlets and everything that you have in your home, if it's a newer home, it will have a ground wire, which literally goes to the ground. And one of the things that happens when it goes to the ground is it neutralizes protons, neutrons, electrons. It neutralizes these to allow everything to be safer, healthier, happier. And we can do that for our body by going out in the grass, in the ocean. Or I've got a pad that I had slept on the same ground mattress for my bed for about a year until I broke it when I moved the last time. And when I was with my mom, I found out that she knew all about grounding as well. She had been doing it. She bought this stuff like in, I think, 2011 or 2008, many, many years ago. She had already adopted grounding. And so I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I need to get a new thing for my bed because it's so hard for me. I live in a condo. It's basically the third floor of an apartment. It's like I hate that I can't be in the grass all the time or in the ocean all the time. I live in Colorado. It's either cold or I didn't have grass or whatever. So she gave me a new thing for my bed and a new thing for my computer, and I've been using it. And it is, I'm doing a number of things. So I can't say for that this is the only thing that's benefiting my sleep. Although I can say since I brought it into the house and started using it, I am getting great sleep. And I'm understanding that those protons and neutrons and electrons that might get effed up by cell phone towers and our cell phone itself, radio waves, all of these random waves and electromagnetic waves that can mess up just by knocking a simple proton off track. and put it on another atom, this can neutralize. And the science is quite amazing. I can hold something that measures that, a meter, as soon as I touch the ground, as soon as I touch the actual ground outside or my grounding mat or my bed, it immediately changes, which is really cool. So you can see that it immediately takes a difference. And they say that you should be out in the ocean or walking on the grass or sleeping on a mattress for between 5 to 20 minutes a day at a minimum. It just depends on who it is that's putting out the content. Some say you get all the benefits after 5 minutes, and some say that you get all the benefits after 20 minutes. So I am at my desk a few hours a day. Some days I'm not maybe at my desk, but I'm at my desk a few hours a day. So I've got it right here by my computer where I'm touching my mouse. I'm already technically grounded because it goes into the ground wire, into my plug, and it literally is going outside into the ground, and I'm able to get that benefit. So I said this would be a short episode. Let me jump off, and I'm hoping that you got some interesting value about a daily habit that you might be able to practice, whether it's being in the ocean for a few minutes a day, even walking, even if you just put one toe on the wet part of the sand or the grass, you're going to be getting that benefit of grounding. And honestly, you're less likely to get things like cancer, things like that, but also you're more likely to have strong, healthy cells, and you're more likely to sleep better. And if you're doing all of those things, if you're sleeping better, of course, you're going to put out better content on your podcast. On the next episode is an episode where I'm going to be interviewing a great podcaster that's along in their journey, that's learned a couple of tricks that I think you'll want to learn and you'll want to hear. So I'll see you on that episode. Bye for now. This is serious. Don't go. Now that you've gotten whatever value that you feel that you got, the actionable takeaways, you need to implement the stuff that you learned. If you remember me talking about bird church once, and they learn how to fly, and then they walk home, I don't want you to walk home. I want you to fly home. So take the steps, take the actionable steps for your benefits that you can become a better podcaster. That's the only thing that I ask of you. And I'll see you for more actionable tips on the very next episode.